We've all been there, waking up without any motivation whatsoever to get out of bed, dreading even the thought of going to work, going to school, or doing any other demanding tasks that suck the soul out of us. Have enough of these days in a row, and you might approach the feared state of mind known as depression. Depression has already become a major global health problem since it affects around 280 million people worldwide. And with mental health issues being on the rise, the spread of this epidemic is expected to increase even further. Although medication-based treatment seems like a promising solution, a lot of people are turned off by the idea of relying on something unnatural just to feel good. And even worse, up to 75% of people in low to medium income households don't even have access to this treatment. Fortunately, there are plenty of science-based methods and habits that have been proven to alleviate depression symptoms. These solutions are sometimes even more effective than antidepressant medications themselves. Let us explore one of these methods that is seldom talked about, called the snowball effect. So, first, what is the snowball method? The snowball method is a concept that was popularized by the famous businessman Dave Ramsey. Although his method was initially intended to be a greatly effective method to resolve debt, research shows that a similar concept could be applied more generally and provide great relief when it comes to mental health problems like depression. The method goes as follows. Say you have many different debts you need to pay. Even though many say that the best approach would be to sort out the biggest debts first, since they have the biggest net interest, this will often lead to people feeling like they are facing a giant obstacle, and their motivation will gradually decrease until they feel like they have reached an all-time low. Instead, paying the smallest debt first will offer relief, building motivation for the person to attack the greater debts afterwards, hence the name snowball method. While attacking smaller debts might seem less effective on paper, we know that the human mind is fueled by motivation. Hence why focusing on building motivation is actually the most effective way of taking care of major obstacles. So you might wonder, how can the snowball method be used to treat depression? Well, depression is a mental health condition whose primary symptom is the lack of motivation to do anything remotely demanding. So, a natural approach to treating depression is to focus on increasing levels of motivation over time, allowing you to have the drive to perform demanding and meaningful tasks. There are many neurochemicals that are responsible for motivation, the major ones being dopamine and testosterone. Research shows that setting yourself goals, however small they may seem, and achieving them significantly increases dopamine, which in turn increases motivation, which makes it easier to achieve future, bigger goals. So the key is in getting the ball rolling, gently pushing the snowball over the edge of the mountain to kickstart this positive feedback loop. Here's where the snowball method comes into play. By setting yourself small goals and achieving them, you trick your brain into feeling motivated, which in turn allows you to attack progressively greater goals. This is exactly what Dave Ramsey's advice is to those who wish to get rid of debt quickly. Also, as Christopher Berglund puts it in the book The Athlete's Way, making your bed in the morning can be a dopamine releaser if you acknowledge it as such. Set up the playing field every day to release dopamine by setting lots of mini goals and achieving them. Setting goals and achieving them guarantees a constant supply of dopamine, which is released during goal-oriented behavior and upon achieving a goal. Finish what you start and you'll release dopamine. Famous psychologist and author Dr. Jordan Peterson is a great proponent of this method. He advises people struggling with depression or motivation in general to start off with a small goal. The key, he highlights, is to set this goal to be as small as possible at first, and then increasing the difficulty as the motivation comes back. So if you're watching this video, it's probably because you haven't been feeling very motivated in the past few days, or even weeks, months, perhaps even years. and you're struggling with simply getting out of bed. Well, here's how the snowball method can be applied to alleviate these symptoms over time. First, make your bed every morning. Making your bed every morning does two things. First, it sets order in the place where you want to feel most relaxed. Your mind will be at ease when you come back from work or school to find a perfectly set bed for you to hop in and relax. Second, it kickstarts the positive feedback loop by setting yourself a small goal, which is to make your bed, and increasing dopamine levels for the rest of the day after that goal is completed. You can then carry around this newfound wave of dopamine for the rest of the day with you and attack bigger and bigger goals, because a house in order is a mind in order. Secondly, before going to bed every night, take a journal, it could be a piece of paper or a notepad on your computer or a cell phone, and write down goals and tasks you want to complete the next day. Make sure that these goals are of the same magnitude as your current levels of motivation. If you've been barely able to make it through the day for the past few weeks, start off with small goals like making your bed, walking 10 minutes, reading 5 pages of your favorite book, etc. Once your levels of motivation start to increase, write down bigger goals, like working out for an hour, or working on a project you've been putting aside for a while, for at least an hour, etc. Side note, make sure that these goals are measurable, meaning that you can look back at the end of the day and know whether you've completed the goal or not. For instance, writing, "I will work out tomorrow" is not as effective as "I will run 5 kilometers tomorrow," because having a clear finish line is motivating in itself. Then, after a few days of writing down your daily goals and ticking them off before going to bed, analyze whether the goals are too easy or too difficult. For example, if there are many goals you haven't been able to tick off every day, lower the difficulty of these goals or how many of them there are. On the other hand, if you always have everything ticked off your list by 3 in the afternoon, perhaps it is a time to up the challenge. Another key direction Dr. Jordan Peterson gives is that over time, the goals you set should be easy enough to be realistically achievable, but not too easy to the point where achieving them wouldn't give you any satisfaction. In other words, you need to set goals that you know will make you feel proud once you tick them off, but make sure that it is actually possible for you to achieve them frequently enough. Another way of increasing motivation by using the snowball method is to promise to give yourself a treat after completing a relatively big task or goal. For example, promise to give yourself your favorite bar of chocolate, or a professional massage, or go to a spa, or even watch a movie. This reward will further increase your dopamine levels, both while working towards a specific goal and after achieving it. Bonus points if you can center your goals around things that have been proven to alleviate symptoms of depression by themselves. The snowball method is only one of many other habits and techniques that have been proven to be effective in treating depression. These other habits include, but are not limited to, exercise, meditation, spending time in nature or with loved ones, journaling and writing about your situation, expressing gratitude, and improving your diet and your sleep. This point is particularly powerful because you have many different methods working synergistically. So there you have it, one of the most effective methods known to alleviate symptoms of depression naturally. Kickstart your self-improvement journey by setting small, achievable goals that you can write down every night before going to bed. The following day, tick the tasks that you complete and allow yourself to be rewarded with the much-needed waves of dopamine and motivation. As your motivation levels start to climb back up, attack bigger and bigger goals, defeating everything that stands in your way like an ever-growing snowball.